How's it going, card fighters? I made a mistake. I went ahead and opened the whole MLB special set before I actually turned the camera on because, you know, everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has those days. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. Everybody gets that way. And, I did not realize the camera was not rolling. So, while we don't get the tactile experience of opening the box anymore, here's the box, by the way. We have a box. Here's a box. So yeah, well, we don't get that anymore. I can still tell you about what the cards do, and then sleeve up the deck. So first of all, the When Light and Darkness Intersects is a order card that says if you have Blaster Blade on Van or Rear, then you search Blaster Dark. If you have Blaster Dark on Van or Rear, you search Blaster Blade. And if you have both Blaster Blade and Blaster Dark, then you search for Majesty Lord Blaster instead. The Blaster Blade, or the Blaster Dark, is technically a new card. It has an additional skill that says this card is also a Royal Paladin. Starcall Trumpeter, when placed, you can Counterblast 1 and Soul Blast 1. And then you return a Blaster unit and the order card from your drop zone. Wingall Brave, when its attack or the attack it boosted hits a Vanguard, check the top 7 cards of your deck for a Blaster unit and add it to your hand. And Majesty Lord Blaster, if you have Blaster Blade and Blaster Dark and Soul, then this gets +5. Or no, this gets +1 crit, and if it's on your Vanguard circle, it gets +5 and +1 drive. And that's on both players' turns. And when this card attacks, you can put 2 cards from your rear guard into your soul to gain 2 imaginary gift force. What other cards of note were there in here? Cloud Lancer Gamoris. I don't think you would play this in MLB, but this is a notable card as it was initially your main way of recycling your Blaster Blades in earlier Alfred builds. And Pluck Enchanter, I don't know how much of a place it really has in MLB, but you could consider running this card as you are going to be spending a lot of your Counterblast in this deck on advantage gaining cards and cards that draw you additional cards or add cards to hand. Then you can use Pluck Enchanter to reuse those cards. And I think that's... Oh, one more thing. You'll notice if you buy this special set, the triple Rs in it are glossier than regular triple Rs. They feel different. And I'm not sure what that's about. Also, I have heard people commenting on how these sleeves feel a little cheap compared to the other V-Series sleeves. So I'm going to use these, but I'm also going to be putting on some clear matte Dragon Shields to make sure that they don't feel as terrible as they could. So let's open these bad boys up, slip some sleeves out, and get started on sleeving. Because we also play in our deck, we're also going to play Absolute Blade Knight Libero, Blaster Dagger, as it is a 10k shield blaster unit. You'll want Blaster Javelin, but Blaster Dagger is the one I have in my house. 2 Night Squire Allens, and we might play Felix. I don't know how many slots we have left. But those are the cards that I'm bringing in from outside the special set to put into the deck. So of course, first of all, we are playing. Oh yeah, I can see what people are talking about. These are very loose. You want to double sleeve them as soon as possible. But you're going to play the 4 Majesty Lord Blasters. And let's start cracking open the Dragon Shields now. Because as we go, we're just going to go ahead and double sleeve them. Okay, I dropped the box of Dragon Shields and none of them fell out. So we're going to sleeve them like this. There we go. They're doing the thing I hate when double sleeve cards do, where they rise it to the top. Let's try again. Let's slip this in here. Yeah, see, there you go. That's more like it. This is how you want your special set to be. But Majesty Lord Blaster is a very interesting deck because it doesn't really have the same blowout potential that a lot of other decks in the standard meta have right this instant. But it does reward you for skilled play very, very much. And it's if you understand the other decks of the format as you play MLB and you understand your own deck to go along with them, then you're likely to take a lot of wins off of people. And that's part of this deck's strengths are the fact that you have this extra buff Vanguard that allows you to continue having additional defensive value on your opponent's turn, instead of just being big on your turn and nowhere else. But I feel like the trigger lineup that comes with the special set is perfect. It's exactly what you want to be running. Of course, you could always play the other heal trigger, Healing Pegasus, if you want. In fact, what I tend to do just to mess with people, especially if I'm going to something that I don't have to write a deck list for. If I do have to write a deck list for it, I'm switching back because it's just more convenient that way. But I will tend to run like 2 and 2 of this trigger, and then like maybe 3 lose, 3 Flogels, and then 4 of the other crit. What is the other blaster crit? Oh yeah, Bringer of Good Luck Epona, of course. But I will play it like that to make sure that my opponent loses count of how many crits that I've used. Yeah, these do not feel great on their own. These feel very thin. So just a heads up, if you're using the MLB sleeves because you want the MLB art on your sleeves, please use oversleeves. These do not feel amazing. I am very satisfied with the quality of the actual cards. The cards themselves are going to be great, and I will mention the deck box feels fine enough, but the art on it is very low res, and yeah. So the deck box feels real nice. There's a real tight magnet on it. It's not going to come open in your bag, but the art is not very high quality, and so if you have a problem with the art being not amazing, then that's a big negative for you for this special set. But other than that, I think it's they knocked it out of the park with this one, because it is an amazing product for beginners. It'll give you everything you need to just start playing Vanguard, except of course those oversleeves. Please buy yourself some oversleeves. Just some clear standard size Dragon Shields will do. But like other than that, this is a deck that you can play. There's weird. Some of the sleeves are already creased, and I'm gonna put those aside because I don't want to get like, I don't want somebody to be like, oh, you're marking your cards. No, they came out of the box like that. Like look at that. Look at that. They're creased. Yikes. Hopefully we still have enough sleeves though, because I do want the pretty MLB art on them. But just I hope you understand that like the sleeves are not as quality as they could have been, and I am a little bit disappointed by that. I'm glad to have my deck and all. I'm really excited to play with the deck. Just not a fan of how frankly, I feel like it would feel kind of gross to play with these sleeves on their own, because they're just they kind of stick a little bit too. Like, hold on, let me try to fan cards out. Yeah, okay, so now, so they're not sticking to each other, but they are just kind of sticky. I wonder if I'm even still recording, because, like, I'm just kind of talking. Yeah, big fan of the MLB deck and how it plays. Not nearly as big a fan of these sleeves. I can live with the deck box. The deck box is fine. I can live with the deck box because it is a nice feeling deck box, and that's part of what matters to me with the deck box is. Oh, that's so satisfying. But let's start pulling the blasters into their sleeves as well. So speaking of Majesty Lord Blaster, have you guys been watching Vanguard If? Because that show's getting real good. I am a huge fan of Vanguard If. I love the writing in that show. It's just like the idea of Ibuki's whole motivation being I want this to go back to being a card game anime is inherently hilarious. Like he's like, we have to save Aichi so that we can go back to a world where our issues are solved with Vanguard. Please. Okay, so let's see here. Then we gotta unsleeve these Leveros and put them in the deck. Let's leave our Allens and our Blaster Dagger. What is the count on the sleeves, actually? Does it tell me? Pre-constructed sleeves. Okay, so there's 70 sleeves, so there are replacement sleeves. So yeah, then we unsleeve our Allens and our Levaros. And get some more MLB sleeves out. But yeah, I think Vanguard If is like a masterclass in satirizing itself, and I love that. Like Vanguard If is just like, if you love the Vanguard anime, this will crack some jokes that you love about the Vanguard anime, because like you have to look back. You have to look back. Like the idea of card game anime is just like inherently ridiculous. The idea of a world where everything is super seriously determined by like who wins and loses in a card game. And so they take that and they go, okay, well, do you have any better ideas? How do you win in a card game? And like, how do you win without a card game? And like, there's also like moments such as when Ren like accidentally erased himself from everyone's memories, and that created like worlds where like Kiyo was the only person who remembered Ren, and he just was like, Ren's the worst. I hate him. I hate Ren so much. Also, I'm going to terrorize a town. I am going to personally become like a dictator now, destroy a whole city, create a Mad Max apocalypse. I love Vanguard If. And for those of you who aren't sold on it yet, you might have seen that it's like a magical girl anime starring Emmy, and you might have just like stopped watching because there wouldn't be card reveals or whatever. So the actual premise, right, is that this is a universe in which Aichi never received Blaster Blade. Aichi never received Blaster Blade. As such, he never started playing Vanguard, and basically like everyone who Aichi had made friends with just isn't friends anymore because like they didn't have that through line of Aichi to connect them. Like look back on the Vanguard anime, Aichi has like no enemies. Aichi became friends with everybody he's ever fought. except maybe Link Joker, but like the ending of Legion Mate, I consider to be the Aichi becomes friends with Link Joker. Like, Aichi's friends with Ibuki, Aichi's friends with Kai and Ren. Like, there's no... Aichi's friends with Leon. There's no villains in Vanguard who like, stay villains as far as Aichi goes. Like, sure, I guess technically Ryuzu Myojin never became a friend, but, like, he became a baby, and he's not... And he can be raised to not be an evil baby. Like, basically, the relative peace that exists in the Vanguard universe is, like, it pretty much hinges on Aichi. Because without Aichi, then you end up in this situation where it's, like, who's stopping Ibuki from being evil now? Who's stopping Ren from being evil? Who's stopping Kyo from, like, who's stopping Kyo from going, screw it, I'm just gonna tear the whole town apart? Nobody. Just Aichi. And without Aichi, then, like, all these crazy things happen, and everything's just kind of weird, especially with, like, there's also, like, an antagonistic force that's kind of like, if any of you ever actually, like, played or watched Touken Ranbu, the History Retrograde Army, where they just try to mess with history to make things different from how they were supposed to happen because they don't like how history works right now. There's also, like, an extra faction that is just trying to mess things up, just trying to make things as weird as possible and as, like, far removed from the main timeline as they can be. Such as, like, removing Suiko from Ultra Rare, replacing her with Eska, and then being like, okay, and also they're terrible. They're like the worst idol group imaginable. Nobody likes Ultra Rare anymore. Like, it's just they know the setting of Cardfight Vanguard well enough to just take every single thing you love about it and be like, okay, but what if it was just a little bit weird? You know? What if it was just kind of weird? And I applaud them for that. They're doing amazing. But yeah, I think that's all I really have to say today. Like, I'm not gonna try to fill a video with more than I actually have to say. So instead, I'm just gonna cut it here and finish sleeving up the deck. If you guys are buying the MLB special set or, like, already have gotten one, let me know in the comments how you're liking it. If you have any deck suggestions, let me know. If you have, like, I'm actually just open to suggestions about, like, what kind of things you want to see on the channel. Ultimately, it's up to me to go, okay, I actually want to do this video, but I do appreciate the suggestions, even if I think, oh, I'm not going to do this one, I don't like it. And I'm not going to, like, go spit in your face and be like, this idea is terrible. Like, if I'm not a fan of doing your idea just because I don't feel like it, then I just won't. I won't be rude to you about it. Feel free to make suggestions. Anyway, I'm Gleaming Garmore. I'll see you guys some other time.